Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is February the 24th, 2023, and today the topic is Here Today, Home Tomorrow. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Mine was relatively busy, but it was good to say the least. Long story short, I did my technical first day of work with the church, not shadowing, just doing. And it just was very, very interesting how I felt right at home, to be honest. I felt right at home with the different tasks that I was asked to do. And obviously NJ feels at home there as well. It's so funny. On our way out yesterday, he's all like, "Come on, we're gonna be late." Like he knew what time it was and all that. And we were not gonna be late. We were super early, but it just was funny. But yeah, yesterday was really nice. So look, shout out to my mom, because to be honest, Mama, a lot of those tasks, I know she usually listens, so whatever, but a lot of those tasks and whatnot that I was doing at the church are tasks that I've always done for you and that I do for my business and just right at home, making, takeaway things, making little favors for the kids, like making sure that things are set up pre-set up or whatever the case is. So, I mean, to God be the glory for divine appointments, for favor, for, I don't know what else to say, y'all. Like, it's truly a blessing. And because I noticed, like, even there are moments where I felt comfortable singing, and worship or whatever. There were moments where I was engulfed in some conversation with some of the other, volunteers and people that were there. So yeah, to God be the glory, man. To God be the glory for all things. That was the majority of yesterday. That Thursdays are NJ's class day as well. So by the time we got home, we had like an hour of buffer, and then NJ got in his class. I think he did pretty well. I'm trying to test his memory because I know he has a great memory, but on the flip side, like I feel like sometimes when he's in class, he hears stuff, but I'm not, and I think he retains it as well, but I'm trying to challenge him to retain it without me assisting him to remember, what things are, or what they studied that day. And so yesterday, because of the way he was acting in class, which he wasn't acting bad, but he just really was trying to get the teacher's attention, just little stuff like that. And running back and forth because like it was a whole thing. But anyway, and so I was like, okay, so we're gonna test to see if you retain the information. He only got one of the things right that he remembered, but it's all good. It's just a little system I'm testing out to see if it will help him, retain the information a little better or be more focused to retain the information better. Anyway, and then after that, I had maybe like another hour of buffer, if that. And then it was time to do Biblical Sex 101. So first, let me go ahead and just shout out Miss Angela for joining us last night and teaching us a little bit about sensory experiences in the bedroom. She showed us 3 quite interesting items. Yeah, so y'all should be able to go see that episode on the GSL YouTube. Yes, God, Sex, and Love on YouTube. There's a playlist that is dedicated to Biblical Sex 101. These chats with Miss Angela. I think, if the Lord's will, next time we will be chit-chatting about the female orgasm, because that was the second that basically it was like neck and neck between those two in regards to the votes. And so we talked about this time, and then next month, if the Lord's will, we'll be having this conversation about female orgasms or whatever. So yeah, so again, thank you to Miss Angela for being our teacher in Biblical Sex 101. And I hope that you all are enjoying the content and that it's edifying to you and your marriages and things like that. After that, I had a virtual rehearsal with my business. So shout out to my fellow actors. Y'all know that it's on the schedule for me to do a show tomorrow and whatnot with my business Miracle Plays. And yes, I had a bit of a rehearsal with a couple of actors and whatnot, and just to talk through and get a general idea of what it's going to look like tomorrow and whatnot. They both have worked with me before, so they're familiar with my format and whatnot when it comes to the mystery experiences. And yeah, so it just was nice to fellowship with them as well. So that's pretty much what my day looked like in a nutshell. I hope that you guys again had a wonderful Thursday and that your day was productive as well. But I can't end this conversation about yesterday without shouting out my cousin. So those of you all that tuned in, y'all may have noticed that at some point I was talking to who I told you all was my cousin Marie. Down in Pompano Beach, Florida. Well, I want to give her a shout out this morning because she decided to sow a seed into GSL. So to God be the glory, for her doing that. Again, things like that is confirmation for me that, to stay on the path, to keep going and everything like that. And so I appreciate you, cuz if you listen to this, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I know we did our shout outs on social media yesterday as well, but I just wanted to let you know how, I appreciate this, and because you didn't have to, and I know we scrolled the information and stuff like that at the bottom of the video, and we shout it out every now and then, whatnot, on the podcast that, hey, you guys can support. But obviously you guys can have a lot of things to invest in out here, so for you to take out the time to invest in little old me and GSL and what the Lord, I guess, is doing with me, for me, and through me through this platform, it's greatly appreciated. So thank you again. And yeah, on the behalf of myself and the team, thank you so much. And yeah. So just wanted to make sure we said that, out loud and verbally. But y'all, let's get into this conversation, because on one hand, like so I listened to the prayer meditation this morning. I woke up at 4. I was distracted, to be honest. I was thinking about a lot of different things and whatnot as I was listening to the prayer meditation. So I guess what it was saying didn't necessarily resonate with me per se in regards to being like a topic to discuss, but basically afterwards, right? I was kind of scrolling on social media a little bit, trying to think like, or see what the Lord was if he's going to show me something or give me something or whatever the case is. And at some point, I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I could say possibly could be the inspiration is I know my mom was having a conversation with me yesterday, I think it was, or maybe the day before, I can't remember. But she was saying how there's been a couple of deaths recently in not necessarily, I guess, the family, well, but extended family or friends or whatnot. And I know she did mention one individual, basically he was waiting in the car and, for his, I guess, significant other or daughter or one or the other to come back out of the store, and basically had passed in the car and whatnot and things like that. And we've been seeing a lot of things of this nature going on. People are playing soccer and just fall out, passed away and whatnot, and it just all these different things that we're hearing about. And yes, I understand that there's other things at play and whatnot. I mean, health and all these different type of things are factors as well. But I guess with that in mind, And at some point, basically, this phrase, here today, gone tomorrow, came into my heart and mind. But the interesting thing is, as I was getting ready to look that up on openbible.info, as I got ready to type, I wrote here today, and I was getting ready to type gone tomorrow. But next thing I know, I was typing home tomorrow, and I said, "That's interesting." I was like, "Is that what you want this to be called, Lord?" And I felt, a confirmation in my heart and mind and whatnot. Now, to be honest, on one hand, it's like, ugh, you don't want to be thinking about, this conversation, somebody that's living or whatever the case is. And I don't think a lot of us want to think about death, like to think about death or anything like that. However, I mean, I guess it's something that we should think about, right? It's something that we should be aware of and make decisions accordingly, from what I'm understanding. Now, some people may not care, right? Some people may not care about what happens after death. Some people may, I guess, yeah, that's that's the way to say it. Some people may care. I think to a certain extent, we go through life and we're like, we don't know, obviously, until we die. Like, we won't know. Now, again, I find it interesting that, like, people say all the time, like, oh, there's no manual to life. There's nothing, no book telling you how to raise a child or whatever the case is. Like, they say all these different things, but then again, I don't know if it's just my journey with the juice by doing this process or whatever the case is, but I'm finding that whatever you want to look up in the Bible, you can find something in regards to it. And so believe it or not, it seems to be that this book, the Bible, right, is the answer to a lot of life's questions, including what happens to us when we die and things like that. And it does tell us that, we can be just like that, here today and gone tomorrow. But with that information, like, I guess the question is, like, what do you do with that information that is, that the Bible is telling us? What are we supposed to do with that information? I mean, it seems to me that it's a bit of a warning. It's like, hey, so this is the options, this is what happens if you choose this way. This is what happens if you choose the other way. And then obviously you can decide what you want to do. But I don't know, is it that simple? I know even today, as I was looking up these verses centered around this concept of here today, home tomorrow, and everything like that, and looking up the different things that was coming into my heart and minds, obviously it's a deep subject. It's something that's like complex. It's probably not as simple as trying to just sum it all up in this juice right now or whatever. But I'm going to share the things that I came across and the things that, came into my heart and mind, and we'll see what the Lord do, y'all. So, yeah, here today, home tomorrow. Yeah, let me share some verses and then we'll see. So the first verse that I felt led to write down this morning was Proverbs 27:1. It says, do not boast about tomorrow. Tomorrow for you, excuse me, my apologies. I read that twice because of the title, the way I wrote it. Okay. So again, it says, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. It's interesting because I was having a conversation yesterday again with a fellow wife, right? One of the ladies over at the church or whatever, as I was working on a task, we were chatting, and I just was sharing with her, I guess, like some things I've observed about my husband, which is things that I observed in myself years ago as well, which is why my mind has shifted and renewed in this area. But one of the things about him is he really, from what I'm seeing, is a planner, right? He wants to plan things to the T. He wants to, you know, yeah, I mean, that's the best way to say it. Like plant things to the seed, down to his money, plant it down to the cent, all these different things. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, again, I think it praise God to be with a man with a plan, you know. But at the same time, what I try to, I guess, assist with as his wife is to remind him that at the end of the day, you know, that's great. But like the word says, tomorrow isn't promised, right? So we can make all the plans and things either maybe don't go that way, or we might not be here to see none of those plans, right? And I think, again, with my upbringing, right, with the nature that I was born in and whatnot, in regards to, you know, again, my father passing months before I was born and things of that nature. I'm sure, again, I feel like I've said this time and time again, so my apologies for those that are listening to me for the first time. But basically, you know, I'm sure him and my mother had all the plans, right? They had all the plans for probably for me. They had all the plans for their marriage. They had all the plans for, you know, their life together. And they only had like maybe 2 years of marriage. And, you know, so the thing is, it's like, I guess with those things in my heart and mind, you know, again, and the thing about me, if I share my own testimony a bit, is that, again, that's why this season of my life is just so interesting, and that's the best way I can say it right now. It's very interesting to me because, again, I'm finally in a place of contentment, at least in my heart and mind. Yes, I got goals. Yes, I got dreams. Yes, I got things I have planned and all these different things, right? There's things in motion, right? However, at the same time, I know that at the end of the day, God is in control. Like, whether, you know, this is my last juice or not, I have no clue, right? But you know, while I'm here today and in this moment, I'm here, open to what the Lord wants to do with me, for me, and through me, like in this moment right now, right? And so, yeah, I mean, again, this phrase YOLO, right? You only live once, or whatever the case is. Like, we get these things in our heart and mind where we're like, oh well, you know, all we have is today. Like, sometimes, I mean, that's pretty much what we're saying. We're saying all that we have is today. And in some ways, yeah, you know, all we do have is the present in some ways. But then for some reason, it's like we don't. It's just very interesting, this conversation today. Because on one hand, it's like, well, really, I think as I look at the title too, it's just about, again, the location. So you're here today, and then you're home tomorrow. So for us, it's here on earth, right? So yeah, I guess, yeah, all we have is here on earth today, right? Because then tomorrow we may, you know, be on the new earth, new heaven, things like that. But anyway, I was just sharing all these things to say that at the end of the day, you know, again, we can make all the plans and boast about tomorrow, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, X, Y, and Z, and then just miss it completely. If those things are not in the will of God. So yeah, I mean, let's keep going, because obviously this thing can get deep. So Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So again, I mean, it's putting the focus on this moment, right? It's putting the focus on today, this present moment. And you know, again, with us not knowing what the next day was going to hold, or if we're, again, even going to see the next day, or whatever the case is, I think that puts even more weight on the moments that we have, right? It puts even more weight on what we decide to do with our time here on earth. And, you know, sure, I share my testimony, and you know, it took me a while to get here mentally, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take that from anybody else, right? I'm sure everybody has their process, their time length, all that different type of stuff. But because we don't know, right? Um, we can keep doing a thing, living in sin, whatever it is, and thinking that we have time and then find out that we don't. Um, we could keep procrastinating on the things of God, and then next thing we know, our time is up. And, there's no more time to do the thing that God told us to do. So, and what does that mean? I guess at the end of the day, right? What does that mean? Well, let's keep going. So then, James 4:14 and 15, it says, "Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that." I know if nothing else, y'all hear me say this all the time, and y'all probably be like, "Oh, why she keep saying that?" I mean, hey, I guess I take this verse seriously in that aspect. I mean, yeah, I hope and pray that I can come back tomorrow and tell y'all what happened today. But that's only if the Lord will, you know. Because I don't know. Like I said, I mean, really all I know is what's going on in this present moment, and at 6:23 a.m. on this Friday, February 24th, 2023. Like, I mean, this is all I know in this present moment. And then in regards to what else or the future or whatever the case is, that is unknown, right, to me in this moment. But um I guess, from here, y'all, I just really was just thinking about this concept and thinking about, like, again, when I did this typo happen here today, home tomorrow, it just really started to make me think about, again, the options. There are verses that tell us that, hey, basically when we die or whatever the case is, we will be in the presence of the Lord. However, I guess if we live in a way that say we don't want to be with the presence of the Lord, then we are going to be in what they call hell. Now I was going back and forth trying to figure it out and stuff, in regards to, is it an instantaneous judgment, or is it time between, you die and then you get the judgment later at a final judgment? Because I feel like there's examples of both, of those ideas and whatnot. But see, I don't know if that matters much, because basically the time is up in regards to what you decide to do right here, right now. So that seems to be the consistent thing that I'm seeing as I'm studying and whatnot. So whether it is an instantaneous judgment, like you die and then you're automatically where you have chosen to be with your life, or if it's, I know there's this concept of paradise, which I'm wondering if that was only something that was done before Jesus, and then I don't know if they call it purgatory. I don't know, y'all. See, we all got to go deeper. We all got to go deeper. I do not proclaim to be no guru or nothing like that. I'm just somebody out here studying. Okay, let me put that on the table, please. Okay. So by all means, if you know, right, or if you have more information to share or whatever, comment or whatever, wherever you see this or hear this. But yeah, basically, it just really made me go deeper about that concept. I looked up what it had to say about, our fathers, right? Either it's, you're gonna go with your father in heaven, or you're gonna, be with your father, the devil. And again, we might not like to hear or think those things as well, but I mean, that's what the Bible say. So I'm just talking about what the Bible say now. I just saying nothing that I wrote or made up. So yeah, I mean, I know at some point this verse stood out to me. It was James 5:1. It says, "Come now, you rich, and weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you." I'm like, oh Lord. listen, I know that it's an ongoing conversation in regards to Hollywood. I know they say Hollyweird. Sometimes they say pedo wood. Like, and hey, I mean, it's an industry that I've, looked up to for a long time and whatnot. But, obviously I kind of look at things a little bit differently now, and whatnot, as I study, as I learn, as I uh, hear, I guess, more, whatever the case is. And I mean, no judgment from me, right, in regards to those people. Even if they're doing the things, if they're not doing, or if they are doing, there's no judgment for me. At the end of the day, the judgment is the Lord's, for whatever deeds that people do. So whether it's Hollywood or whether it's anybody else, just a normal person, again, the judgment belongs to the Lord for how you live your life. And yeah, I mean, again, something about, again, how we live our life right here, right now. I feel like that's the main thing I keep saying right now. But you're here today, and then you'll be home where you have built your home to be tomorrow, and everything like that. And so I don't know if this is heavy, y'all. I don't know. I mean, it seems a little heavy. Um, I don't know if this is too much to take in at this moment. Again, there's a lot to think about and consider, when it comes to this conversation. However, I guess at the end of the day, like the word says, the choice is yours at the end of the day. God is not forcing us to be with him. Um, he's sending the invitation. He's knocking on our doors. He's letting us know in every aspect that, hey, I am here. I love you. I created a way for you through Jesus, and you can choose to believe or not. However, this seems to be a really, really huge choice and decision. I'm reminded again of Jackie Hill Perry, when she said, basically what you believe about Jesus is everything. That's the only thing that matters, really. And yeah, I mean, basically, I ended up reading a few articles on calm.org this morning as well that I guess sort of coincides with this conversation. Maybe it will answer some questions that we have about the afterlife or things like that. So yeah, if you go there, there's like 3 articles that it's in the Go Deeper section. I'll just read the titles to y'all just in case you want to see if it's something that you're interested in checking out. So one of them is there life after death? An article that's called Is There Life After Death? Again, this is carm.org, CARM.org. Another article that I came across as well said, I will worry about God in the next life. That's the name of the article. I will worry about God in the next life. So, and then the third one that I ended up reading, says, what did Jesus say about hell and the final judgment? So, I mean, ultimately, again, from my understanding in the studies and what it's saying here is there's either heaven or hell for us. And technically, hell wasn't created for us as humans. People feel some way. They're like, oh, God will put you in hell. Like, why would he do that if he loves you? And da, 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 da. But again, I feel like Frank Turek explains it beautifully, that at the end of the day, God is a gentleman and he's not going to force you to do anything beyond your will. Like, if you don't want to be with him, then he will grant that, I guess, wish of not being with him. But the unfortunate thing is not being with him is being in hell. I mean, according to the Bible now, y'all, according to the Bible. Now, one of the things that really stood out in one of the articles that I read, it said repeatedly, eternity is a long time to be wrong about Jesus. So, yeah, y'all, that is ultimately the juice this day. I don't know if this juice was bitter. It had a bunch of pulp in it that you don't like. But I hope that you guys, go deeper in whatever way that you need to go, and, understand again that at the end of the day, you're going home, and it's up to you where that home is. So All right, the Bible verse of today is Philippians 4:7. It says, "And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. But let me remind y'all that tonight, an episode of the GSL Talk Show should be going live at 7 p.m., and it should be a chat with Miss Tiger AJ Ray. So tune in to that tonight. And like I said, I hope I will be talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. If nothing else, I hope that you're inspired to look into these things. Again, you're making a home somewhere. So look into the options and weigh them and see where you would like to go, like a vacation or whatever the case is. We go, we search, we do the research or whatever the case is to figure out where we want to go. So, hey, by all means, if that's your way of looking at it or whatever the case is, again, go deeper. If you're struggling with whether this is accurate information or whatever, go deeper and see, I think, as the Bible says, if we seek, we will find. And yeah, this is what the Lord led me to study this morning. On one hand, I know it's kind of dark, or whatnot, but hey, I mean, it doesn't have to be, right? According to the Bible, the alternative, heaven is this place that we can't even imagine, really, and again, I know that people have had their life or near-death experiences and whatnot, and they share what they saw and heard and feel and all those different things in those moments. I can't say that I've had those per se. Now I've had some dreams. I don't know if I've necessarily had dreams about heaven nor hell or whatever. Not that I can remember to tell y'all in this moment, but but there are plenty of people that have documented. And again, I know we're all going off of someone else's testimony, right? So if you don't feel comfortable going off of someone else's testimony, I say go straight to the source and ask them, Lord, reveal this or that to me about eternity. Reveal this or that to me about heaven and hell. Or, I think he will do it if you ask him. And if it's in his will to show you whatever it is. So just saying, y'all, that's what came to me to study this morning. Obviously, it's a deep topic. You can go many, many ways with the conversation, but ultimately, I hope that you're encouraged and inspired to do so. Yeah, I mean, as for today, it's a pretty chill day compared to yesterday. I mean, it's not like running around, at least that I know of. I know I'm supposed to do a show, someone else's show. And GSL's coming out later on this evening, if the Lord's will. So in between those times, I don't think there's anything on my schedule, but I need to look and see. But if not, I'm gonna try to chill because tomorrow is a show day, and so majority of the day will be prepping and whatnot for the show that evening again, if the Lord's will. So yeah, y'all, I hope y'all take this stuff seriously. I hope so. I mean, a lot of us live like we don't take it seriously, to be honest, but like that quote says, eternity is a long time to be wrong about Jesus. And I guess you'll have a lot of time to think about what you didn't do and whatnot. And I don't know about you all, but I don't like living with regrets personally. I guess because of that, I have very few regrets, I try my best to, like they say, live life to the fullest, but yeah, so just something to think about, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a wonderful Friday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.